Welcome to Career Kopi, where we have real conversations about work, transition, and designing a life that fits you better. I'm your host, Hong Meng, and in each episode, I sit down with people who have made bold, intentional shifts in how they work. Coaches, facilitators, entrepreneurs, creators, and more. If you're rethinking your next step or just need some fresh perspective over Kopi, you are in good company. I've had the privilege of working closely with my good friend Ishak Ismail over the past 7 years through a leadership program for the Singapore Armed Forces. During that time, I've gotten to know him as not just a brilliant systems thinker, but as someone who brings real heart and clarity to his work as a coach, facilitator, and teacher. Ishak has had a remarkable career serving Singapore from the military to public service to the private sector. He's made a real impact on the community and now he's stepping into the world of diplomacy. These days, he wears quite a few hats. He serves as Singapore's non-resident High Commissioner to Pakistan, chairs the Families for Life Council and the National Maritime Safety at Sea Council, works as a principal consultant and coach at iGrow Partners, and sits on the board of the National University Health System. Our conversation covered so much ground and flowed through such distinct insights that we've actually turned it into 3 episodes. We'll be exploring how to align your roles with purpose, how to build sustainable life rhythms, and how to discover joy as a strategy for personal growth. This is part 1 of my conversation with Ishak Ismail. Okay, welcome, Ishak. Thanks for joining us at this podcast. To begin with, what does your portfolio of work look like today?
Hi, Hong Meng. I covered kind of 5 areas and I became quite amazed how did it land up to this. But the 5 areas are, the one I spend most time with in a way is building leaders, growing human capacity of capital. And the other 2 I really like is growing strong and resilient families. And that's for Families for Life. I chair a council at the national level there. And I'm also a board member in the National University Health System. And this is the other one I like because it's contributing to a space of healthcare for the western side of Singapore. And then the other national council, which is, I call it the unique piece, and that is the National Maritime Safety at Sea Council. It's about safety of lives. And in a way, it's very much connected to the other 2. And my most recent one, which in a way it was a surprise that it came on to me, but it's something I've been wanting also to contribute towards. And that is being a diplomat. And that is the High Commissioner for Singapore to Pakistan. And that is a non-residential appointment.
That's a whole lot of things for one person to have on his plate, Ishak. How is someone able to actually juggle so many things in his work life and integrate that so well into their way of living and into their life as well? Perhaps you could share with us, how did you get to be where you are today, juggling so many things, and how do you actually think about this? What is the shift or moments of shifts that occurred for you?
I can do 5 at the moment because I'm considered retired. But that's not the principles of retirement because some of these are remunerated, right? But let me go back to how the word juggle seems interesting. I do not use it when I take on 5.
Okay.
Right? It seems like I'm taking things very flippant and there are things I need to move around. They're me today. This is what I want to contribute to. So I don't see it as juggling things around because I have different directions to attend to. Interestingly, I see this as me. And I just pay attention to 5 areas at the moment. And I want to go 2 steps back. First, the first step. Taking on different things has been part of what I've been doing whilst in the SAF. We don't just do one thing. We've got this thing called the classic concurrent appointment holder, right? As we do a primary job and at a certain level of our time in the SAF, we would be given concurrent appointment holders. And they're real two jobs. They're not one you nibble and the other one is the main one, especially if you're leading national servicemen. So it has been something I never thought of juggling. It was always, then it was me. And then that's when I'm full-time working. And then I continued full-time working in the private sector. And I would still say, because of that kind of an openness that I could do two things and still be me, I started taking on very easy the being a board member or something.
Okay.
And I've been lucky to then get that. So then, portfolio is never something I consider as juggling. That's why I discounted the word. It's something I want to do. And then at one time, even if I'm full-time in working for the Swedish company, I did take on 3 things on the side, and they allowed me the space as long as not conflict of interest. So then I was a board member somewhere. I was an Accord volunteer for MINDEF. And I started working on the Families for Life. So, and they all did what I wanted. So that is going one step back, right? I don't feel it's juggling. Now, if I go 2 steps back, when we grow ourselves, my belief with a vision, why can't I develop myself a little bit more holistically if things come to my front and I grab it? So 2 steps back with me is kind of guided by a larger piece in my mind. How do I see myself contributing? What's meaning? What's purpose? And just nicely, things come into being as time passes. And
the universe responding.
The universe interesting responding. Let me share 2 examples how it was so specific. When I left the SF, started in the private sector, kind of like, you had to deal with profits, you got to deal with the business end, and those were my commitment, my accountability. But I knew beyond the SAF, I still want to contribute to a larger society. When Accord came on, which is actually MINDEF's volunteer organization to front community relations, and I got into that space of community relations by connecting families to national service, for example.
When did that happen?
That happened almost immediately.
Immediately after you left the
20, because I'm no longer a full-time uniform, so they thought, hey, I can contribute in the volunteer space. The universe came very nicely because I thought contributing to families out there was something I really wanted. So you notice it just came. And then adding on to Accord, the chairman of Families for Life was in my working group. And then I became a Families for Life council member. And 5 years later, as he says, it's time up for him in terms of term, then I took on the role as council chair. So if I had that larger thinking in my mind, the universe opens up. So it's not so much as, hey, what should I do today? What would get me occupied? And then you start picking choices. It wasn't that way for me. It wasn't like I started to look for choices and I start shopping.
But that's a very illuminating thought for someone like me who my first reaction to the number of things that you do was the word juggle, as in juggling multiple balls in the air and keeping them up in the air so that none of it drop. Because one of my favorite phrases is, don't drop the ball.
Right.
So I think it's consistent with that way of thinking. But I think based on what I hear from you, at least at the first level, you mentioned that these are all things that I want to do. And because they are things that I want to do, they are easy for you to do. Then at your second level, once you think a little bit deeper about meaning and purpose, then that space kind of open up even more. And then the universe respond to you positively. And I think the things that continue to show up in your life are congruent with all that.
Interestingly,
Somehow,
yes, right? Yes. And I mean, the second example I wanted to share, right? So we talk about the families, but even within the family space, so I started general families, strengthening families, and it's all life cycle of the family. We started, of course, pre-marriage, marriage, parenting, and they're all mainstream families. And I said in my mind, in my purpose is, actually amongst anything and everything, youth will be really the future of family. The upstream future of the mindset and the thinking of what family means to them. starts even not at the point when they're trying to confirm the partner, which is pre-marriage, is what is their view of relationship. And I said, wow, that is a space will be powerful. Keep me not, Hong Meng.
Okay.
Within the year, SDN closed down, SDU closed down, and the youth group came under Families for Life.
And when did that happen?
That's about a year and a half back.
Just
it just came, and then it's like, okay, Ishak, now Families for Life are going to touch on the youth part.
Well, the timing seems perfect.
It's like almost when I and that's about 3 years of family mainstream, watching all this. At the point when I'm comfortable taking that space and I thought about youth, it's on my lap. And today it is on my lap. And even if I'm handing over the appointment of chair in succession plans, I would say I can remain in an advisory role of something I want. So that's a classic example. And then I had this vision and thought that I am very well suited to different cultures and contributing, and I could see this in visualized mode, by the way, in my visualization, contributing to a space where I meet people overseas and I contribute into that space. I kept that for a while. For the last perhaps 10 years, it's been in my vision, and I never knew what was hitting. I never created and pick and choose what that could become. Of course, I got the job as regional director for the company that I last worked with, and I thought that was it, right? Company regional director means you meet all the different cultures, and it was business. And just last year, I was asked whether you would like to be a high commissioner role, and I said, "Oh my God, this is now I could see it.
Yeah,
I see this is the diplomatic role. This is the diplomat role, where it is a serious space. It is at the highest level of thinking, and I already thought that is a space I want to contribute to.
Okay.
So then it goes back. I'm not taking this on because I'm going to juggle one more thing. It goes back to the point, I'm taking this on because it's part of what I want to do. And I remember a good friend always telling me, you don't prioritize your schedule. You schedule your priorities. And in this case, I didn't even have to think twice. Yes, please. And I will know how to work around what are the directions of the 5. Right? Let me ask myself a question. I'm going to beat you on this. You say, Ishak, then how do you focus? I mean, are you really able to contribute? Aren't you possibly diluting yourself? And are you
giving the best of yourself to all the areas that
or are you making a tick in the box in one direction just for, in some ways you can even push it to me because the title is useful. And I
what is your response?
Yeah, I do challenge myself.
Okay.
Because when I am thinking about it, I didn't even think of the title. It was, what is the contribution? So I do think once in a while, have I given it attention? And completely, I wouldn't want to say, for me it's completely, but I would like to validate that through the outputs, the outcome, the people I work with. And I mean, if we can do a survey, that'll be great. But my own judgment is, I won't take anything unless I contribute it wholeheartedly. So no, I would challenge myself and I say, no, sorry, Hong Meng, I'm going to be a bit bold to say, if I do feel it is, I'll be the first one to say to that group, I don't think I may have time to contribute.
Yeah, I mean, I find that to be quite a powerful insight. The way you view the different responsibilities that you hold and your belief that you are already contributing to the best of your abilities in whatever space you choose to be in. And these things that are currently in your life, they all appear to fit your vision of what you're trying to create for your work and for your life in general. And it seems like just now you mentioned that even your international role with a company, it didn't quite complete that vision for you. And that is why the diplomat role, when it appeared, seemed to complete that picture. And again, maybe it's early days and we don't know what else the universe wants to offer you, but it showed up. And when it showed up, you gave it your best. I think there's a lesson there for everybody.
And a week sometimes you can have all five. Interestingly, it appears in most week that I organize my time, or people need my time, it can be 2 to 3 at any one time. So this week, it's a classic. I've got a very big event on the National Maritime Safety at Sea. It's an international safety week for us, right? And then tomorrow, I've got conversations with NUHS of a transformation. Yesterday, we had a subcommittee meeting with NUHS. So that's 2 of my big portfolio, taking 2 parts of my week. On Saturday, I'm attending to the youth for Families for Life.
Okay.
Right? And they're not small people. They're not cursory. I mean, the subcommittee meeting, I'm an attendee. That's not too bad. The International Safety at Sea Week, I'm the face, right? You're meeting with the Secretary General of IMO.
Yeah. They are looking for Ishak, and Ishak.
It's the day event. It's an international event. That's big.
Yeah.
And then Saturday's work with the youth is second round. So they're not like tick the box, Ishak, just go there, you've done it. No, there are things I got to put my mind. And then Friday's meeting tomorrow, for example, is having that conversation about transformation. So in a week like that, and what I'm going to say is this: unless it comes from a deeper meaning, it won't work for me.
Yeah.
And because it comes from a deeper meaning, I give the attention, the time, in between things, to kind of say, have I thought about it? Yes, I think I'm ready for tomorrow. Of course, the days and the weeks of preparation for the big event, and then the thinking through and conversation about Saturday. So in between moments, I just do reflections, I kind of put notes in, and that's how I organize my time. And I want to say it's wrong for me actually to say that's 5. My pet 6 is always back to family. It's my personal space, right? And maybe I didn't say it up front because I knew I can honestly drop any of all the 5 if I need to, because at the core is still me supporting and being and partnering my family. But because it's kind of just DNA, I forgot about it, but it's 6.
Yeah, you look like you're having a good time, actually. As you were telling me about all this work that you're doing, you can tell that your eyes light up. There's a lot of energy in there. And I'm just curious, earlier on, how do you find time for yourself and your family? That was my curiosity.
That's the end of part 1 of our conversation with Ishak Ismail. As you have heard, Ishak doesn't juggle roles. He embodies them. Each commitment flows from a deep sense of purpose and clarity of contribution. In part 2, we shift gears into the how, unpacking the systems, habits, and deliberate routines that make such a purposeful life sustainable. Join me in the next episode as we explore what it really means to schedule your priorities and lead with intention at work and at home. Thanks for tuning in to Career Kopi. If something resonated with you, subscribe, share it with a friend, or drop me a message. Until next time, keep learning, keep evolving, and remember, your career is yours to design.